Greetings, fantastic grade 4s. Welcome to this Worksheet Cloud grade 4 math lesson all about adding. I'm Mr. T, your maths teacher for today. I hope that you have your brains with you, otherwise today's lesson might just not add up. I apologize, I can hear you groaning. Secretly, that's why I became a teacher. So I had a captive audience who couldn't run away when I started to tell awful jokes. Anyway, at Worksheet Cloud, the main goal for us is to make sure that your learning is as fun as possible, which I know isn't always easy when it's maths. Not everyone enjoys it as much as I do, but we try. So that's why we've just launched our brand new Worksheet Cloud Rewards Hub feature, where you can earn rewards while you learn, including a chance to get some Nomu hot chocolate or even a PlayStation 5. But more on that later. Let's get back to today's lesson. All right, as you can see, it's about adding today. Let's have a look at what our goals are for the day. Okay, so goals for the lesson: be aware that there are different ways that we can add and why it's good to know these. So I'll show you 4. There are others. These are 4 quite common ones. It doesn't matter which one you choose. But I'm going to show you that there are times when certain methods lend themselves better to solving certain problems. Then you need to know the commutative law, or I'm going to make sure you know the commutative law. I'm sure you probably already know it, you just didn't know it had that fancy name, but we'll recap that. Be able to recognize that different words, or the words that teachers use when they want you to add, because they don't always say add this number and this number. Sometimes in the word problems, they use words like sum or total or altogether, and it means you've got to add it. Things that will make this lesson easier is if you have a good grasp of bonds and a good understanding of place value. I'll explain in the next slide what those things are. Okay, so what's up with bonds? 6 plus 5 is 11, 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 7 is 16, 8 plus 6 is 14, 5 plus 6 is 11, 2 plus 8 is 10. I didn't work out any of those. Those are facts that are in my head. When I see the numbers, I just know the answer. And that's because I've worked with those pairs of numbers so often that it's just there. It's a bond. It's a fact that I know in my head. And so I'd suggest that if this is something that you struggle with, you spend some time every day just practicing it. The better you are with this, the easier it is to learn the bigger concepts. I'll show you a practical example of that a little bit later in the lesson. So if you are a little shaky there, perhaps you can get your mom or dad to spew numbers at you while you're in the car or going to the shop or something like that, and you have to spit out answers as fast as you can, or find a friend who also wants to get good at this and practice with them. Place value, that number over there in the middle of the screen is 89,631. What I mean by place value is this digit is a 3, but because of where it's placed in the number, it doesn't mean 3, it means 30. This digit over here is a 9, but because of its position, it means 9,000. In the middle, we've got a 6, but it doesn't mean 6, it means 600 because of where it is. That's what I'm talking about with place value. So it's important to understand this, because when we're adding, we need to make sure we add the right place value with each other. So hundreds with hundreds, tens with tens, units with units. Okay, the commutative law of addition. Let's have a look at these pairs and see if we can figure it out. 6 plus 5 is 11, 5 plus 6 is 11. 9 plus 7 is 16, 7 plus 9 is 16. I wonder. 8 plus 2 is 10, 2 plus 8 is 10. Pretty sure you figured it out. When we're adding, we can change the order and we still get the same answer. And some of you are probably thinking to yourselves, so what? How does that help me in maths? If we add ones like this, for example, most people find it easier to add the smaller number to the bigger number. So if I'm looking at the first one, instead of going 6 plus 15, and then first adding the 10 and the 5, I would rather say 15 plus 6. to get my answer, which is a bit easier as far as I'm concerned. And the same for the second one. I wouldn't say 15 plus 657. I'd say 657 plus 15, knowing confidently that I'd be able to get the right answer because it doesn't matter which way we add. And the same with the third one. Similarly, if we've got things like this, we can use the commutative law to group things together to make our lives easier. So if we look over here, this first one, I could go 14 plus 17 is 31, plus 6 is 37. But most people would take a little longer to do 14 plus 17, especially with grade 4. But I do notice that 14 and 6 together come to a nice number. So if I added those two together first, I'd get 20. And 20 plus 17 is easy to do. That's 37. So that's how the commutative law can make your life easier. Again, with this one, I could say 293 plus 56, get an answer, and then add 7. But I noticed that if I put my 7 with my 293, I get 300. And then it's just a case of saying 300 plus 56 is 356. With the last one, where we have 4 terms instead of 3, I noticed that if I group the 9 and the 1, I get a 10. And if I group the 17 and the 3, I get a 20. So 10 plus 20 is 30, which is a lot easier than saying 9 plus 17 plus 1 plus 3. All right, so that's why it's useful to use the commutative law of addition. Okay, we're going to look at 4 different strategies today. Expanded form or place value, using a number line, compensation, which is very similar to give and take. I'll look at both of them. You'll see why they're very similar. And then column addition, which is your normal thing. Sometimes teachers call it soldier sums. We line everything up and then you work it out. So all of those are good. And in fact, when I'm writing it down, I use column addition generally. And then when I'm working things out in my head, I often use a number line concept. So I don't actually draw it in my head, but I'm adding, you'll see when I get there. Okay, so the first one, place value, I've done it on a slide, and then the other 3 we'll do on the whiteboard. So let's have a look at place value first. So if I'm looking at 247 plus 152, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break those up into each of their parts. And by that, I mean that we are going to take 247 and break it up into 200 plus 40 plus 7. And we're going to take 152 and break it up into 100 plus 50 plus 2. And now that we've done that, I'm going to add my units. 7 plus 2 is 9. 40 plus 50 is 90. 200 plus 100 is 300. 300 plus 90 plus 9. Put them together and I get 399. So it was quite a nice, easy one. Because in each case we got a number that fitted into its slot at the bottom, and by that I mean our units column can only have 1 character or 1 digit, our tens column must have 2, our hundreds column must have 3. So let's look at an example where that isn't the case. All right, so 966, if we break it up, is 900 plus 60 plus 6. 157 is 100 plus 50 plus 7. And now if we add them up, so let's look over here, we've got 6 plus 7 is 13. And unlike here where we had a single digit that fitted in this place, we've got 13. So we're going to leave the 3 there and take the 10 to the tens column. So if you imagine putting a 10 up top, 10 plus 60 is 70, plus 50 is 120. Again, we're only able to have two digits in that slot, and we've got 120. So we'll leave the 20 there, and we'll carry the 100 to the next column, and we'll put it down. So 100 plus 900 is 1,000, plus 100 is 1,100. Again, we only have space for the hundreds over here, so we'll put the 100 there and carry the 1,000. So when I click, I have done it without the carry, and then we carry afterwards. So I said 6 plus 7 is 13, 60 plus 50 is 110. Then I carry the 1 across to here, so the 10 across to here, and it becomes 120. So it becomes 120 and just a 3, and then I carry the 100 across to the next one, so it becomes 1,100, and then we get our answer, 1,123. Okay, the other three, number line, compensation, and give and take, I'm going to do on the whiteboard. So let's cross to the whiteboard quickly. All right, I have to actually cross on my program so you can see the whiteboard. There we go. Now let me see what we've got over here. All right, so in the first one, you can see that we've got 247 plus 152. We're looking at a number line. I've organized these in the question, so the bigger number is first, but if they were the other way around, I'd switch it and put the bigger number first, but it doesn't, because of commutative law, it doesn't matter which one comes first. But I'm going to start by putting 247 on my number line over there. All right, next up, I'm going to jump, and I'm going to jump this 152 in pieces. I'm going to jump the hundreds, then the 50, or the hundreds, then the tens, then the units. So I'm going to add my 100 first, so plus 100, and that would give me 347. Then I'm going to plus my 50, and that's going to take me to 397, and then plus my 2, and I get 399. All right, so just by jumping it in pieces and using a number line, I've got to my answer. Other people use number lines differently, so perhaps you rather want to jump until you get to 250 at the start instead of 247, and then from once you've got to a nice number, you jump in nice jumps after that. I just jump the hundreds, then the tens, then the units. But if your mental arithmetic and your bonds are not so good, then maybe you want to do it the other way. Okay, let's look at the second example. I'm going to start again with putting my biggest number on the number line, 966. Then I'm going to jump my 100, which gives me 1,066. Going to jump my 50, which gives me 1,116. And finally, I'm going to jump my 7, which gives me 1,123. And that's my final answer. All right, so that's number lines. This is the one I said I use in my head when I'm doing it. Okay, I'm going to look at compensation and give and take first. So let's move across here. I'm going to look at each of these with compensation and then redo them with give and take. Okay, so I notice when I look at 29 plus 8, is that 29 is quite close to 30. Yeah, that's awful. Let's undo it all and try again. 30. Okay, and 30 plus 8 is easy. That's 38. But that's the wrong answer because I have added 1 when I was up there. So in order to get the right answer, I now need to take away the one that I've added, which gives me 37. And that is the correct answer. If I look at the next one, I notice that 399 is close to 400. And 400 plus 58 is 458. But I also added 1 over here, and that means I need to subtract 1 over here. So my final answer is 457. Okay, that's the compensation method. I'm going to rub both of those out. Instead of using compensation, I'm going to use the give and take method. This is my preferred of these two. You'll see why, because you have to remember about things that you've done before. So what I notice when I look at this first one with 8 and 29 is that I'm going to take 1 from my 8 and give it to my 29. So now my 29 is 30 and my 8 is 7 and my answer is 37, and that's the correct answer. For the second one, I'm going to take 1 from my 58 and I'm going to make that 400. And this one then becomes 57, 457. Right. This can also be quite useful if you've got something like, let's make it 17 plus 7 plus 9. If we've got something like this, we can say, all right, well, I see that this is quite close to 20, so I'm going to take 3 away from the 7. And I see that that's quite close to 10, so I'm going to make that 10 and take 1 away. I've taken 4 away from my 7. I took 3 and 1, so I've got plus. Oh, no, I have not got 4 left. I've got 3 left. And I can see, well, 20 plus 10 is 30, plus 3 is 33. So you can see how we can use it when we've got more than 2 terms as well. Okay, we've got the column method. Column method is soldier sums, traditional method. A lot of teachers teach this one. It's important that your tens line up with tens, hundreds with hundreds, units with units. So in what I've got here, it's all 3 digits. So it's easy, but I think that sometimes you'll get a 4-digit number with a 3 or a 3 with a 2, and you've got to make sure that the place values line up. Okay, it's all laid out nicely. I'm going to start with the one on the right-hand side. This is where your bonds really makes a difference. So 7 plus 2 is 9. You don't want to spend time working that out because then you get lost in the process. Yeah, so the better you are with bonds, the better your overall maths will be. 4 plus 5 is 9. 2 plus 3 is, 2 plus 1 is 3. I often do that. I say the answer before I've finished the question. Okay, it's fun when I ask my class, what is the da-da-da? And I say the answer before I even, while I'm asking them the question. Anyway, never mind. Let's have a look at this one. 6 plus 7 is 13. Now, I only have space for 1 digit down there, so I'm going to carry 1 across to the tens column, because it was 10 from 13, so now it's another 10. 7 plus 5 is 12, carry 1 again, and gives me 11, carry 1, nothing to add it to, and it falls down. All right, so answer is 1,123. If you do have a quad book for your maths, which is one of those books that has the little blocks in, I would strongly advise that you always stick to 1 number per block, because that will ensure that you don't end up getting things out of alignment and accidentally adding the wrong place values. Okay, I did have some questions here, but the last time I did this lesson and made a mistake, mistakes are not bad as long as we learn from them. This is me reshooting. The lesson ran a little long, so these are just practice with straightforward numbers, and I'm going to skip these this time. Or should I? Okay, I will do just 2. Okay, so we're going to see what method we're going to do using a random selector. So we've got all 4. We're going to spin and see which one is the one we're going to use. We'll just do 2. Number lines. Okay, so quickly jumping across, we're going to use number lines for the first one. All right, so I'm going to draw my line first. Start by putting my number down, 862. I'm going to jump 100. Gives me 962. I'm going to jump 90, which gives me 1052. And then I'm going to jump my 8, which gives me 1060 as my final answer. Right, number line. Okay, we're going to do one more from our random selector. What are we going to get? Place value. Sure, that was close. Right, so we're doing number 2, place value. All right, so place value, we're going to first of all write them down in expanded form. So 132 is equal to 100 plus 30 plus 2, and 786 is equal to 700 plus 80 plus 6. 2 plus 6 is 8. I've got 30 plus 80 is 110, so I'm going to leave my 10 there and carry my 100 to the next column. 100 plus 100 is 200, plus 200 is 900. If I add those up, I get 918, and that is my final answer. Phew! I think it's time for a Nomu hot chocolate break. Cheers. Let's be honest, studying sucks. But here at Worksheet Cloud, we make it suck way less. In Worksheet Cloud, you can earn avatars, sidekicks, collectible coins, and then level up all while studying. Plus, we've just added our most exciting feature to date, the brand new Worksheet Cloud Rewards Hub. With Worksheet Cloud Rewards Hub, you can earn epic rewards and unlock entry tickets to win real giveaway prizes, including a Sony PlayStation 5, some yummy Nomu hot chocolate, and some fresh Worksheet Cloud merch. The more questions you answer, the more points you earn, and the more rewards you unlock. Worksheet Cloud makes your studying easier with video lessons, practice exams, practice questions, and study notes. In other words, we're your go-to place for all your studying. Ask your parents to sign you up at worksheetcloud.com today. And now, back to the maths. All right, we are skipping those other two because I ran out of time, and we're going to go and have a look at some word problems. So I've selected a bunch of word problems here. I've also said you can choose your own favorite method. So I'd strongly recommend that before you watch the part of the video for each of these, you pause the video, try out your method that you've chosen for this, and then once you've finished or got stuck, it doesn't matter, then carry on watching the video. I might not choose the same method as you. I've made a selection of word problems here so they can show you that different of these strategies are useful depending on which one of the, depending on how the word problem is structured. Also in each of these I'm going to point out the word that's going to show you that we're adding, because sometimes it doesn't actually say add these numbers together. Okay, so Anthea likes running and ice cream. Yes, teachers love to throw useless information in there just to see if you can be confused or not confused. No one minds if Anthea likes ice cream. It's not about the problem. Okay, she finds out how many kilometers she's run in the last week by plussing. Okay, it's not, I had to use the word plus and it wasn't quite the right form of the word, but that's the word that's telling us that we are adding. So she's plussing the 12 kilometers she ran on Tuesday, the 8 kilometers on Wednesday, the 9 kilometers on Thursday, the 31 on Saturday, and the 9 kilometers on Sunday. So that's what we're going to plus together. This is actually my running from last week, except I adjusted Tuesday's run by a little bit, so it worked for what I wanted to show you. Okay, so we're looking at a number sentence, or a word problem. That's the words I'm looking for, a word problem. So when we get a word problem, we need three things. Start with a number sentence, then you've got your workings out, and then you've got an answer sentence. And an answer sentence for a word problem must be in words. You've got teachers that are quite strict about that. Sometimes they'll take marks away just for not writing the words, even if you got the right answer. So we're going to start with our number sentence. So we've got 12 kilometers plus 8 plus 9 plus 31 plus 9 equals. There's our number sentence. Okay, so having a look at this, what I'm noticing is that this will work really well if I group these together. So it's partially the commutative law, but actually this is just grouping, I suppose. It's not even one of the methods I showed you. So I noticed that, 12 plus 8 is 20. 9 plus 31 is 40. And then I've just got a 9 left. And 20 plus 40 is 60 plus 9 is 69. How easy was that? All right, and because it's a word sentence, we have to say Anthea ran 69 kilometers last week. Oh, isn't she so fit? You might be interested to know that teachers often struggle to come up with names when they're making word problems in maths and things like that. So in this one, Anthea and Keshma are teachers I work with. Okay, but let's have a look at Keshma's word problem here. Keshma bought some sweets, which she counted because maths teachers needs to make up story sums, and she had 43 Skittles. Yeah, I don't know. Why would anyone count their sweets? But there we go. We have to have a maths problem, so I just made it up. She's got 43 Skittles, 36 Smarties, 39 rascals, and 43 astros. How many sweets does she have if she adds them up? Adds, it's very similar to addition. It tells us that we want to add them up. Put them together, plus them. Okay, so let's start with our number sentence. 43 plus 36 plus 39 plus 47 equals, there's our number sentence. Make that a little easier. All right, now there are different ways that you can choose for this, and all of them, if you do them correctly, will get you to the right answer. I'm going to choose a method with this one. Let's see. I'm going to steal 3 from my 43 and give it to my 47. All right, so my 43 is now going to be 40, and my 47 is going to be 50. And then I'm going to steal 1 from my 36 and give it to my 39. So I've got 35 and 40. And boy, does that look a lot easier when it comes to adding than the one at the top. So 40 plus 35 is 75, plus 40 is 115, plus 50 is 165. So Keshma has 165 sweets. That is a problem. I wouldn't like to have her in my class after lunch. Okay. What is the sum of 734 and 1,377? Okay, very important. This word, I don't know, repeated 100 times, something like that. It means add. So when you got something that says the sum of two numbers is, and it gives you that, it means you've added those two numbers together, and that's the answer. So sum means plus. It's probably the one that confuses people the most. It doesn't look so close to addition or adding or something like that. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to change the order, because I just prefer to have the bigger number first, and with these with plus it doesn't matter. So I'm going to use column method for this. 1377. I'm going to make sure my hundreds line up with hundreds, tens with tens, and units with units. I could have written a number sentence before, so I could have said 1377 plus 734 equals. Now I'm doing it, so I've got 7 plus 4 is 11, carry the 1. First do that, so that gives me 10 plus 1 is 11, carry the 1. First do that, gives me 10 plus 1 gives me 11, carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. The sum is 2,111. Done. Now we're on to the next problem, which features my niece and nephew and my dogs. Xander and Juliet build a doghouse for Dash and Pirate. I'm not going to give you points for guessing which two of those are my niece and nephew and which are my dogs. If you don't get that one, I'm not sure we should be watching grade 4 lessons. All right. Okay, so they build a doghouse for the dogs. They had 12 planks of wood to start, and then each of them got another 18 planks. So if each of them got 18, then there'll be 2 sets of 18. So my sentence will be, or my number sentence will be, 12 plus 18 equals. All right, this is divided into 2 problems. The other one's to do with an L. So let's cover this one first. Okay, I'm going to show you a neat trick that comes with column adding. I wouldn't normally do this one with column adding, but I will choose to do this one with column adding just because it does have a nice thing. So with column adding, you are allowed, let me do this a bit further across, you are allowed to have more than 2 things stacked up in a pile like this. So you can't do it with minus or divide or times, but with plus you can. So I'm first going to say 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 8 is 18, and I carry the 1. 4 ones is 48, so my answer is 48. They had 48 planks. All right, the next question is about the nails. They had 87 nails. I'm going to just quickly rub out my answer sentence so that I can just draw this in this space down here. So they had 87 nails, and Zonda bought 120, and Juliet bought another 13. Okay, whichever method you choose will work, but I noticed that when I put those two together, so I get 87 plus 13, I get 100. Keep my 120. If I put those together, I get 220. They had 220 nails. Okay, second last problem. Nobasutu, Suzette, and Kyle make up a team in a reading competition at school. The goal of the competition is to read as many pages as possible over the weekend. Norbs reads 127. Suzette had 64 because she had a busy weekend and didn't have much time. No one cares. Well, actually, that's not true. We do care, but it's not maths related. And Kyle reads 243 pages. So how many pages did they read altogether? And altogether is one of those words to look out for. That means when we're adding things up. Okay, number sentence first. 127 plus 64 plus 243 equals. Okay, again, we can use whichever method you choose. I'm going to go with columns. 64, 243. You could have written these in any order. Depends what you feel for. When I'm adding, I'll do those two first. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Carry the 1. 10, 11, 12, 13. Carry the 1. And 4. So together they read 434 pages all together. And finally, our last problem for the day. On the Worksheet Cloud Rewards page, Mikhail has been working hard. I'm sure it's because he loves maths. And he'd also quite like to get his hands on some Worksheet Cloud merchandise, some Nomi Hot chocolate for the study breaks, and maybe even I don't have a PlayStation 5 with me. Did I get you? Unfortunately, I don't have one. I'd love to be allowed to enter this competition, but because I'm working with Worksheet Cloud, they won't let me. Okay, so Mikhail, back to the maths. So he's earned the following points and wants to know his current total. So first of all, Mikhail does exist and has lots of points on Worksheet Cloud, but he can't actually win because he works for them as well. He's just testing things out for you guys. Okay, so I also don't know if these are actual amounts you can earn on Worksheet Cloud because, like I said, they won't let me enter, so I haven't even been allowed to look. Okay, but let's do this one, the maths of it anyway. I'm just going to use the column method. There are plenty of other ones that you can use with this that would work quite nicely, but let's go with columns. 250. Oh, move this up a bit. 250, 75, 100, 75, and 350 plus. Okay, in my final column I have 5 plus 5 is 10, carry the 1, 11, 18, 25, 30. That's where mental arithmetic really helps, or your bonds. Carry my 3 from the 30. 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 3 is 10, so it's 1,000. So, oh, I didn't write my number sentence, but you would write all of those numbers plus together. And then we can say that Mikhail has 1,000 points. All right, well, we have come to the end of our lesson for today. And so I'm just going to jump across to the recording program. Did just want to say to you that we don't learn maths, we practice maths. No one became good at playing cricket by watching cricket. And just like them, you're not going to get good at maths just by watching maths. It's really important to practice what it is that you are seeing. So please click the link in the description at the bottom of the video so that you can download the free worksheet and practice what it is that we've been working on. And also, can I just remind you, just before we sign off, don't forget to get your parents to sign you up on Worksheet Cloud so that you can get access to all of the different worksheets they have and practice, and also so that you can get access to the rewards hubs so you can earn those great rewards, the Worksheet Cloud merchandise, the No Hot Chocolate, or even that PlayStation 5. It could be you. It's been great having you with me. I look forward to seeing you again. Have a great time. See you soon. Cheers.